a shared ride with a black man that was consuming red pill content, and I want to talk about it real quickly.
I want to back you up 100% today and talk about this because I feel like these topics don't get enough coverage and it's really scary. But first I want to say I'm so glad you got out of that shared ride safely and okay. That is the most important part. But I've noticed something terrifying, and that is that red pill content, which we all now know is like the right and the white supremacist pipeline, is not only attracting people of color and black men, like this creator talked about, but they're also managing to weaponize words and manipulate media to attract some women, which is also deeply concerning. Now, if you haven't watched her video yet, please go watch it because it's so important and it's a basis for what we're talking about today. Essentially, one of the things this creator talks about is how these red pill content men will do response videos, but they will edit and clip all of their content in a way to make it seem like the original creator is saying something completely different, or just so poorly that it's obvious that it's being very heavily manipulated. That's concern number one. And then concern number two is that they will use all of these heightened emotions and anger to hide their white supremacy concepts and other things within their content so that it's slowly being subliminally fed into these men. And now these women. She said the video she overheard this boy listening to pretty much ended by saying all these women don't know misogyny is, sexism, they use these terms like feminism and racism. They don't even know what they mean because they're not even real and it's ridiculous. And you notice how he threw in the middle because they're not even real and then just kept going. And then these boys don't notice that. But the rest of us are wait, full stop. Did you just say that all of that isn't real? But because they're already so worked up, they just overlook all of these finer details. And it slowly puts them on this pathway and pipeline to joining the radical right. And another thing I've noticed is they will manipulate words or newer, more mainstream terminology just to confuse these newer groups of people they're trying to attract, like women and people of color, into thinking that they're on their side. I've noticed specifically a rise in the term of white feminism, mostly just coming from men, especially to attack me in my comments with no evidence to back it up. And I thought it was very interesting and out of character, honestly, that suddenly all of these men were super interested in intersectional feminism. And I was well, that's honestly kind of nice. But you're not exactly using it right. Yes, I told a story time about my life and my experiences, and in my story times, just like in my videos, I am white. So those stories are going to be coming from a white woman. White feminism is a bit of a newer term on the mainstream, and part of it is ignoring the experience and the obvious fact that women of color have to work so much harder and have just entirely different experiences than even white women when it comes to things, especially including feminism, specifically in this example. But I thought it was odd they keep specifically only commenting it on videos where I'm talking about my dating life and my experience and personal anecdotes firsthand. And yes, I am white in my videos, so in my story times, I will also be a white woman dating. Me sharing my struggles dating and stories is not negating the fact that women of color also have struggles that are different from mine. I found it interesting, specifically a bunch of my followers, which I love y'all, found this red pill content creator who had manipulated one of my videos so much so that it didn't even make any sense. It was just all gobbledygook, and they pointed that out in the comments. Love y'all for standing up for me. And like this previous content creator's example, since he made my video so nonsensical, he then went on to stitch it and try and put a bunch of words in my mouth to make it make sense that just weren't true and didn't make any sense at all. And luckily, all my wonderful viewers pointed that out in the comments very respectfully too. I was really touched at how respectfully you guys defended me that day. Interestingly enough, it was a video where I was talking about Taylor Swift and talking about how some of the stuff she does isn't too great. It was before I was really familiar with the term white feminism, but essentially that's what the video was about. And so he clipped it to make it seem like I was taking her side, which I was not, just for context. The interesting thing is every time my viewers asked for evidence from him for his wild claims, he couldn't provide any because these red pill content creators make bold, wild claims like that and rely on the fact that no one's going to ask for facts and sources. And so he would just jump and try and distract with another wild, bold claim, and everyone would be no, go back to what you were saying. Also, no sources on that one either. And funny enough, at the end of the day, he finally just kind of admitted that he was angry about my dating content and how I often advocate that women as a whole, we need to set our standards higher and not settle for horrible men. And that upset him so much that he went around spreading lies about me and even caught the attention of some women who didn't know the facts and unfortunately hopped on board to be yeah, that girl sounds wild. And of course, I'm not saying I'm perfect. I have made mistakes in my past and I am still learning. But yeah, these red pill content creators are getting trickier with their practices. And we need to start talking about them and educating people more about them.